Welcome to Great Talking Entertainment. I'm your host, KJ, and this is the podcast where I review movies and TV shows from all your favorite superheroes, including Marvel Comics, DC Comics, and much more. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment official channel. Now, let's go, baby. Welcome back to the podcast as I continue on the new Disney Plus series by Star Wars The Acolytes. This is episode 8 spoiler review, and this is also the season finale spoiler review as well. So if you have not seen season 1 at all, pause this, give me a thumbs up, because you guys leaving a thumbs up will help my YouTube channel grow. I definitely appreciate that. So do that. Then go watch The Acolytes, and then come back, check out all my spoiler reviews, including this one, and leave me in the comments below how you feel about the show. Tell me the theories you have for this show or any Star Wars series of where you think what's going to happen next. I would love to hear it. So if you have not seen this, this is, again, a spoiler review. So y'all been warned. Let's get into it. This episode starts off with Chimere trying to help Osha get the helmet off of her, but it triggers her ability to mind control Chimere, and it was really close, but luckily he got out of it. The next scene shows Soul explaining to May what happened, but she escapes, and boy, she escaped like really good. Like they were just talking, and she uses that android to pickpocket the locks, and she got out and tased that guy. And of course, she gets on a skate pod, and I loved how they were flying, and she flies out to space rocks, and then there's Soul just chasing after her. And I thought it was really cool when Basson, like, this is twice too, we've seen him in this show. He pulls a bunch of wires out. And I believe that this character could not just smell, but I think he could smell good, evil, bad, light, dark, liars, truthful, Sith Lords, Jedis. I think he can just smell it out. And that's why I think he did it, because the ship they were both on just flipped, but hit May's ship, the escape pod, and they crash landed where it all started pretty much, with the Witch's Covenant. And I just thought that was the coolest thing. Like I seen this stuff before, obviously, but I just thought this was a little bit cooler than those. Then we seen the next episode, Varnest. She was summoned by one of the councils of the High Republican about what's going on, and she didn't say a lot, but this guy, I forgot the actor's name, and I apologize, but he was in the CW's Supergirl, and I think he's an amazing actor. David Harewood is his name, and I think he's an amazing actor, especially on that Supergirl on the CW. I thought that was a really good show, obviously, but I thought David's a really good actor, and I liked him, and I wish they used him more. So I'm really hoping there would be a season 2 with him in it, because I think he's an amazing actor, and he's really good at doing sci-fi stuff like this. So I would love to see him more, because I thought it was just a waste to only have him for that. Like, he could be a really good villain for this series, where it seems like it, because this character that he plays doesn't like Jedis. He kind of makes fun of them. He kind of calls them in a way like they're a Jedi is some type of cult. And he goes, what's the thing you guys say after you guys say goodbye? May the Force be with you. Because she wasn't saying squat to him, but she knows what was going on. And we see what she does in this episode, which we'll get there. Chimere and Osha are going to May and Osha's home planet, and they're teasing a new path for Osha. And then we get the famous, popular, legendary Sith character that shows off, Darth and he's just creeping and spying on them, and it was neat to see him. And this is a character that they've been talking about throughout the whole Star Wars galaxy, comics, books, and in every movie and show you can imagine. And just seeing for that split second, I thought that was really cool. I believe this character is from the Star Wars Legend series, which is a great read. Definitely read that out. And if it is, I think so, because now he's officially canon. Like, I know they mentioned him in one of the prequels movies. I want to say episode 2, maybe, or 3. But that's where it all went down. And they get off that planet, and he just leaves. So we didn't get much out of him. I was hoping he would show up and do some fighting, but they didn't. He didn't show up and fight, which I thought that'd be really cool. I thought he was going to show up at a particular scene that's coming up, but Burnett is trying to contact Master Yoda, but she's trying to do it quietly and secretly. So the person she called was like, "Man, what you're asking me is nuts, but I'll pull it off. Like, you're trying to pull a lot of strings for this without getting caught." She she's got some info on Soul's location, and Soul's looking for May, and her and Osha are on the same planet, Chimere as well. And we see Chimere and Osha there, and they're looking around, and then all of a sudden Soul shows up, and then Chimere and Soul have this huge, awesome lightsaber battle, which I really like. They use some like a Japanese kung fu style, especially where they tie the actor or actress or the stunt doubles, whoever using it. They wire them up to do the cool flips and kicks, and I mean, Chimere did the Superman punch. I was like, wow, he did some Roman range. And I also liked how Chimere took a piece of his lightsaber and turned it into another one, like, and it was the same size as a dagger. And I just thought that whole sequence was really cool. And then at the same time, Osha and May were having a battle moment with their fist and force, and one was wearing, I think, one was wearing black, one was wearing white, so it was a yin and yang type thing. And I thought that was really cool. And I like the sequence where Osha and May did like a side kick to each other and then just transferred over to the lightsaber battle, which I thought was really cool. And May escapes because she sees one of the ships fly, and they both looked up. And she goes down and she starts fighting Soul, and then May and Soul started talking, and instead of killing him, May was like, "No, I want him to confess." And he confessed, but he didn't realize Osha was listening. And when he confessed that he killed their mother, she heard it. And that's where Osha decided to become a Sith Lord, basically go to the dark side. And she tore him up, choked him out. And as she was choking him with the Force, her blood was going into the crystal of the saber. And I think it was, I want to say Soul Saber, I think. And she killed him. She killed him, choked him out to death. And Chimere like took off his helmet, and he was like shocked because, you know, this was like, whoa, he was hoping May would do this, but Osha did it. But I think he kind of sensed like maybe I should stick with Osha, because as soon as she was angry, that red, she was ready to fight Chimere, but it went from blue to red real quick, and I thought that was cool because I feel like we don't see that in a lot of the newer Star Wars content, but it's it's refreshing to re-see somebody become a Sith or join the dark side, whatever you want to call it. Maybe she's not a official Sith Lord, but this is the I thought, and I could be wrong, I believe this is the final stage. Once you kill a Jedi and you put your blood on the crystal, and force it to turn red, you become a Sith Lord. Now, she didn't do it like Darth Vader. Darth Vader, or Anakin Skywalker, when he killed the Jedi Master, he grabbed that crystal with force and forced that thing. He would put all his blood, he put all his anger and rage in that thing. That's why Darth Vader is probably the biggest villain in Star Wars. Still is, because he's the chosen one. But that's what I like about that. But I like that. It was refreshing to see that. To see somebody turn Sith. Like, they've been teasing it, but like this one in the prequels, she became a Sith. And I figured she would. I was hoping they would, all my predictions, this one came right. And I thought that was really cool. So that's a point for me. That's a point for great talk and entertainment, I should say. And they all dipped out because Vanessa knew that Chimera was here and they dipped, but she had to cover everything up with another lie. And then she finally talks to Master Yoda, and I thought that was really cool. But they did it in an MCU way. So she also, I want to point out, changed the story up where it was all Soul's fault. Soul did this, Soul did that. Boom. And then he said he took his own life away. I mean, that was nuts. That's a cover-up. So we're seeing already before at Star Wars Episode 1, the Jedis were already meant to fall. And so let's go on the topic of just Master Yoda. I think I said this in the last review on Episode 7. There's no way that they would just make a story where Yoda didn't know that she was lying. There's no way. For what Master Yoda represents and what he's capable of to do and the ability he can do with the Force and how wise and mature he is, like, he can detect with the Force who's lying, who's telling the truth. He can detect within the Force who has the good heart, who has the evil heart, basically, right? And for her to just walk up there and pull this off, if she's going to try to tell the story like this. But I also thought about, what if Yoda agrees to go along with this story? Does that make him evil? Does that make him corrupted? That would change a lot, but I hope not. My personal opinion is this is the moment where Yoda calls her out and unveils the truth. That's what I believe, but because if Yoda knew all along, then that makes him more corrupted too. And he taught Luke Skywalker not to be like that. He, did everything he could. And even on the Star Wars, the Last of the Jedi, he was like, look, I think that was the one, but one of the Star Wars with Rey Skywalker and Kylo Ren. Even his Ghost Force had one more life lesson for Luke Skywalker. And so when I look at those, I just cannot believe, and I gotta trust them, that they're not gonna go with the story where Yoda did not know, that he was easily fooled, or he went along with it, because that makes him a big hypocrite to the particular Star Wars character, particularly to Luke Skywalker. That would destroy the whole franchise of like how we're supposed to perceive it. This would mess it up, I believe. So I gotta believe if they're teasing a season 2 like they are, then Yoda needs to put her down, like put her in her place, arrest her, whatever. Because I think that'd be really upsetting to do that with the character Yoda, to me personally. So let's talk about Soul Dead. I think Soul death was just an example of this whole story is never is the reason why this story is never told within the Star Wars shows or movies. Like even Anakin Skywalker didn't know of it. That probably means Obi-Wan Kenobi didn't know about this. I mean, even I would believe Obi-Wan Kenobi. I forget this character's name, but Obi-Wan Kenobi's his Jedi master, the one who trained him. I believe he wouldn't know either. Like, or maybe he did. Qui-Gon. If Qui-Gon knew too, I had a discussion with a friend. They said, "What if Qui-Gon knew? Wouldn't that be a good reason why when he saw Anakin Skywalker for the first time, that this he decided to make sure that this person was gonna balance everything out? Like that's why he said he was the chosen one." I would say no to that because, well, let me tell you why my friend thought that, because he thinks that makes sense. Because why would you take a boy who's a little bit older, like Osha was? If it didn't work back then, why would it work now? And maybe that's why Yoda was really harsh on Anakin. That's why Yoda was like, no, 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 you're not becoming a Jedi. I've seen this story before. And maybe that's why he was very secretive about it. Maybe that's why it was unclear why Master Yoda was against the idea of Anakin Skywalker becoming a Jedi, which he was already close to his mom. He had a really rough life being poor, basically. He fell in love with Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia's mom, Padme. The reason why I would disagree with that, it's the reason is the two situations different. Anakin never thought about ever becoming a Jedi. He was more wanting to be a mechanic, in a sense of it. He wanted just to live a regular life and make good ends meet. He would never in a million years thought becoming a Jedi when he was that age as a little boy. Osha wanted to become a Jedi. She saw that this was much different. This would make her a different person and have her own life, because she knew she just looked like her sister. And I honestly would go with that. That's why I believe that I have to believe that Yoda was going to fix this himself and he was going to expose. This is why I think in episode 1 they knew the Sith Lords were gonna attack. Like, they were growing, they were rising, and they needed to find a way to be ready for battle. They knew that there was people who were going to be within this Jedi Council thing in the High Republican, that there was some people within there on the dark side being undercover. So I really believe that Yoda really didn't want Anakin there, because the people who were undercover that was secretly working for the dark side was going to corrupt Anakin. So that's why I think that. That's why I disagree with that. But that's just my opinion. Do I think there will be a season 2? Yes, for the reason is, at the end of this episode, we see that as Osha and May were saying their goodbyes, Chimera somewhat wiped her memories and rearranged it a little bit and took out things that she can't remember. And I think Vanessa knew, because she saw it, because she's a Jedi. She's probably done this before. That's what Jedis do. Like we see in all the older Star Wars, they wave their hand and, you'll let me in. You'll give me the information, and they just talk. They do it to stormtroopers and people on other planets. Like, So it's a no-brainer that she knew. She knew that. And I believe that she's going to train May to become a Jedi. And she's going to become the hero. And that's going to corrupt the Jedis again. So that's what I think. I believe they'll do a season 2. But my review on just season 1, I would say the best. It had its rough spots with just the way you would see on the internet. There's a lot of people upset the way Osha and May were created through the Force. A lot of people were upset with the actors and directors and actress is comments, and maybe there weren't very they didn't do very lot of studying of Star Wars because they said things on interviews where it was incorrect. And I think Star Wars fans took that to heart because you would hope these men and women and everybody behind the scenes on camera have a true love for Star Wars and want to tell the Star Wars story the way they grew up and read about, like Star Wars fans still do today. So I see that, but you know what? I also had to give this show credit because there were some great scenes. There were some good, really good episodes. And the lightsaber battle, I'd put this in the top 5 lightsaber duel battles and throughout all Star Wars continuity. And I didn't think it's bad at all. So, is there some improvements? Yes, but I think this show did so good. I think a season 2 would be so worth it. And I would hope that whatever flaws or mistakes that the fans believe they made, I hope that they would step up and try to do better. And I hope they would try to correct some of their wronging within season 1, because I do 100% believe this is worth another season. I think Acolytes is a lot good, and I think it can be a lot better, and I know it can be. So I just hope that season 2, they would do improvements on it. So if I had to give this episode a 1 out of 10, I'll give it a 10. It had a great ending, good cliffhangers, and they teased a lot of things. And they closed they closed this chapter up. You know, a lot of people died. A lot of people rode off in the sun. And there's more to this story. Their journey to certain characters have a different path to even lead up to Star Wars Episode 1. So I think there's more to tell with that. Now, my score for season 1, I'm going to give it a 6. It was good, but it could have been better. But it's still worthy enough to have a season 2. So that's my review, y'all. Thank you so much. And I hope you all enjoyed The Acolyte. And I hope you enjoyed just Star Wars stuff when they come out. And I hope the new stuff is enjoyable to you. And I hope that they will continue the traditional way of Star Wars. And I hope you guys come back to Great Talk and Entertainment official channel for any other Star Wars shows or movies that may be out. I'll definitely review, whether it's non-spoilers or spoiler reviews. So thank you guys so much, and peace out.